Every entrepreneur needs to have the same things in place, the same foundations of their business before they can get it to, 50K a month, 100K a month, 200K a month, whatever it is. You have to have those foundations. I listened to a podcast recently about marketing. I can't remember who it was from, but they were saying that they went to this conference, like this marketing trade show, and some famous person was there, like a Dan Kennedy or something. And they had an option of going to like the advanced marketing speech or conference or talk or whatever it is, or like just like the foundational one, like marketing 101. And this very famous marketer, I think it's Dan Kennedy, I can't remember, but it's someone famous that you would know. They decided to go to the foundational 101, right? Which everyone was really baffled about. Like, why are you going to the 101, like the foundational marketing? You're like one of the best marketers in the world. This person turned around and said, well, if anything's missing in my business, if anything is lacking, then it's probably something to do with the foundations. And when I heard this in the podcast, I thought it was really powerful, because we're all looking for, the new method, the new technique, the new strategy, the new thing that people aren't copying, et cetera, et cetera. And we get wrapped up in all these technicalities. We get wrapped up in all these methods. And as marketers, we probably nerd out a little bit. Even as entrepreneurs, we probably all nerd out a little bit on the new thing, like the new software or, the new way of doing something. And when you really think about it, all you actually need is the foundations in place. It's all you need for your business to get to where you want it to go. Okay, so what are these foundations? I've thought long and hard about this since listening to the podcast. And so the way I see it is that the foundations really come down to just a few pillars, really. You've got the first thing, of course, is sales, because if you can't sell, you're not going to make any money. So you really need to nail sales. At first, as an entrepreneur, you're going to be the one doing the sales, okay? You have to figure out if your sales is going to be on the phone, or if it's going to be via DMs, or if you're just sending people to a page to buy something. Maybe they don't need to speak to you. Typically a higher ticket product or a higher ticket service, you need to get on the phone for it, right? I see people on Facebook and Instagram typically selling or saying that they can sell like high ticket in the DMs. And I just think, well, look, good for you. That's awesome. But I know for a fact, like if I wanted to buy something that's 5K, I want to jump on a call with that person. I want to speak to that person, even if I consume their content, and I want to understand exactly how that 5K is going to be used specifically for my business, right? If it's a service. If it's a product, maybe it's a different story, because you just buy the product, it's sent to you or whatever, or it's like an informational course. But I mean, typically I would want to jump on the phone with someone. So that's my sales process at this stage, like with what I do. You jump on the phone, we go over it, custom strategy for you, and then we figure out like what's going to get you to the next level. Because most businesses are slightly different and slightly nuanced, and you need to have an understanding of what that slight difference is, right? So at my company, we copy and paste mostly the same service structure, but every business sells something different. So if we're making like a sales video, you need to have a different script. Of course, it's going to be aligned to you. So we have to really understand your business, your product, your service in order to create those sales assets. Okay, so that's one example. Sales is the first pillar. You need it in order to get money, bring the income, generate the revenue, and you need to know if you're selling via phone or via DMs, okay? The second thing is, right, you need to get people on the phone. So you need to have a pipeline, like an acquisition system. So for the sake of simplicity, let's just call it marketing. So you have sales and marketing. The marketing is designed to get people on the phone, right? If that's your sales process. How do you do that? Okay. Sending DMs to people is more of a sales process. That's like appointment setting. If you're sending emails to people, I would also argue that that's more of a sales process. That's not marketing. You're not doing any marketing. Okay. And this is where a lot of marketers, agencies, they get confused because they think that they can grow a company just from sending mass emails or just sending mass DMs. And it's not the case, because people buy differently today than they did years ago, decades ago. Even you yourself, before you spend 5K on a product or a service, you're going to do some research first. It doesn't matter if you get emailed, right? Maybe that's the first touch point. It doesn't matter if you get sent a DM. Again, the first touch point, you're still going to do some research. So the second pillar is marketing. And what is marketing typically, right? It's your brand, your colors, your website. But all those things don't really matter if you're not getting people to the website. And they probably don't matter if they're not getting people to book calls. So what actually is it? What is marketing? To me, the way I see things is that your marketing is content or sales assets that people can find when they're doing that research, right? And it could be on your website if they visit your website from that DM or that email, but it could also just be via search or via your social media links, your profiles, Okay, you have to have content there that does the brunt of the selling for you, because someone is only going to book a call if they understand your service or your product and the problems that your product or service solves for them specifically. Once they know that, they're probably still going to do a bit of research. They're going to look at your competitors. They're going to see if they can do it themselves. They're going to see maybe if they can hire someone to do it for cheaper, right? Maybe they need an employee. So they're going to look at all these things. This is marketing, content, okay? It's building up your brand. It's showing people who you are. It's showing people your colors, your logo, things like that. It doesn't have to be a personal brand. It could also be a company or a corporate profile or brand, okay? But that's what you need to get people to book calls. You need to have the marketing pillar. So now we've got 2 pillars, right? Sales and marketing. What's next? Now, this is a bit of a tricky one, but what I really believe it comes down to is the actual delivery, okay? So if someone buys the product or the service, how do you deliver it? Is it online? Maybe, they just purchase it. This way you just have some software. It's pretty straightforward. If it's a service, which is what I want to focus on mainly here, because most of the people that we work with are service-based businesses. If you're selling a service, you have to understand A to Z, down to a T, exactly how you deliver that service, okay? Service delivery, therefore, is pillar number 3, because if you can't deliver the thing that people are paying you thousands of dollars for, not only is it going to ruin your reputation and your brand, it's also going to affect the longevity of your business, okay? So you need to have a custom process that is going to enable you to go from A to Z for that client. And that process, again, can be placed into your marketing or into your sales assets. So when we create video content for our clients, for example, most of the sales assets talk about this process or this mechanism, because people want to find out what makes you different to everyone else. If you're a B2B company, let's say you're in IT, every IT company sells pretty much the same thing. What is it about your process that makes you different? Okay, people don't want to work with you because of your brand, right? They don't want to work with you because of you personally. Yeah, they might have an interest in you and your personal brand, but it isn't to do with that. Okay, it's to do with your mechanism. How do you get the result for them, right? Someone will pay someone else, like your potential customer will pay someone that they've never heard of before, right? If before they buy, they can do their research and they logically make sense of the process to get the solution. If it makes more sense, and there's case studies and there's testimonials, they're going to buy from them over you, even if they watch your content and like you personally. Because if you haven't got anything to demonstrate that your process is different, at the end of the day, it's just all talk. Authenticity is strong. It's key to building a brand, and it's key for your marketing, but you need to have your process in place. So service delivery is actually the 3rd pillar, in my opinion. And so just to keep it as short and sweet as possible, those are the 3 main pillars you really need for your business to grow. The 4th one, if you wanted to add a 4th, would be about building a team, because you can't do all of this on your own. You can't do the selling. You can't do the marketing on your own. You can't do the service delivery on your own. Perhaps you could for the first 1 or 2 customers, but trust me, I've been there. And if you want time freedom as an entrepreneur, which you should be aiming for, that's one of the key things that you need, right? Typically, once the money starts coming in, sales, you want to start removing yourself from the business so that you can get more sales, or so that you can grow, other aspects. You want to be managing your team. You want to step back and become more of a project manager, so that your team does everything. Everything's kind of working over here on the side, and then you can focus on the other big picture stuff. Okay, so the 4th thing would be team management, leadership, those core skills. But that's probably a discussion for another video. So guys, if you've got any questions, let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one.